Welcome to day 12. While eating out every second night may not be the best decision for your health, having a thriving social life is certainly an integral part of living a healthy lifestyle. That's why I think that knowing how to confidently eat out at most restaurants without falling off the wagon is critical. You shouldn't need to abandon your diet or be that weirdo with your Tupperware under the table when you go out to eat. So, first of all, I want to reassure you that with the right strategies, there will almost always be something good enough that you can eat at any restaurant. But with that said, some restaurants will definitely be easier to get healthy meals from than others. For example, you'll probably find that a steakhouse or a seafood restaurant are easier to deal with than a restaurant specializing in a very specific cuisine, such as Italian or Indian. So, what I suggest is that if possible, before you go out, look at the menu online so that you know exactly what you can and will order. Figure out a plan A meal and also a backup plan B meal in case your first choice is not possible or available anymore. Now, apart from making sure that the restaurant has what you want to eat, pre-selecting what you're going to order also makes any other off-limit foods at the restaurant less tempting because you've already made the decision and you don't need to battle with willpower in the heat of the moment anymore. Now, I'm going to give you some suggestions on what to order just now. But first, let's actually talk about ordering your food. If you're polite, friendly, and ask nicely, then your waiter will almost always be willing to accommodate a custom order. You may need to pay a little bit extra, but that's reasonable, and in the grand scheme of things, it really won't be that much more. I do suggest that you try and keep your order as short and to the point as possible though. Don't get carried away and make your order super confusing or long, as this will test the waiter's patience and also increase the chance of the kitchen getting your order wrong. And then, just my 2 cents, but actually acknowledging the waiter's efforts and tipping well if they get your order right will make it easier for you and others like me to order custom, healthier meals from them in the future. Okay, so what should you order? Well, you can still use the Sleek Healthy Meal template as a way to format your meal when eating out. You know, protein plus veg plus carbs plus fat equals meal. I suggest that you always start with protein first. Look for protein-dense choices like steak, chicken, eggs, fish and other seafood, or tofu, etc. And then see if you can get the protein as close to its origin as possible, such as a plain steak, steamed fish, or grilled chicken breast. This is opposed to a steak covered in cheese and mushroom sauce, or a deep fried fish, or a crumb chicken breast. You can see the difference there, right? Yeah. So you also probably want to skip anything that has the words fried, cheesy, crispy, glazed, or secret blend in them, which will help save yourself from eating hundreds of unwanted calories or added sugar. Now, don't stress too much about finding the exact palm-sized portion of protein, as this could really confuse the waiter. But thankfully, very often restaurants will portion their protein into fairly moderate amounts anyway, so I don't think it's too big of a problem. Next, load up on vegetables. Simply ask to swap the chips or the starchy side out for some kind of salad or cooked veg. No matter what you order at any restaurant, loading up on veg to eat first is a great way to prevent yourself from overeating on more calorie-dense parts of the meal. Now, something that you can say at any restaurant is, please can I have an extra side of veggies with that? I'm willing to pay a little bit more if need be. Easy. Now, for the carbohydrates, when it comes to carbs, look for high fiber, slow digesting, minimally processed options. That is the key. These will likely come in lower quantities, but also helping you feel fuller and more satisfied from your meal. If you can't find any decent choices, just skip them and move on. It's not the end of the world if you eat a low carb meal once in a while. And don't worry, you won't turn into a banter or lose all your games. Now, great choice for carbohydrates when eating out include the more starchy kind of vegetables, beans and legumes, fruit, or whole grains like quinoa, oats, and brown rice. You know, even like whole grain bread can work too, although it's not something that we usually recommend. Just make sure that the carbohydrates aren't the main focus of the meal. For example, a small side of brown rice should be okay, portion size. But a dish that's built around rice with a little bit of protein or veg added in is probably too much. So now, what about fats? Well, unfortunately, finding healthy fats can be pretty hard when it comes to eating out. And when you do find something like avo or nuts or olives, it's very often a much bigger portion than the 1 to 2 thumbs of fat that we recommend. This is why I suggest that you don't worry too much about healthy fats when eating out, with the exception of opting for olive oil and vinegar as a simple salad dressing, of course. Now, If you prefer to follow a higher fat and lower carb diet, then opt for less or no carbs, and you'll be able to accommodate a more fat dense meal. There's also a very good chance that your meal will be cooked in some kind of fat or oil anyways. Unfortunately, most restaurants will use cheaper soy or sunflower oil, and this is not really something that the waiter can change very easily. Kitchens have a very specific workflow that help them put out consistent, good quality meals very quickly, and any kind of disruption to this could cause huge problems for them. But if it's a more health conscious or upmarket restaurant, then there is still a good chance that they will use a better quality ingredient like coconut oil, olive oil, or real butter. Ultimately, your main focus should always be on protein and veg when eating out. The carbs and fats are more optional and not the end of the world if you can't get them right for one meal. When you go out, just do your best and don't sweat the small stuff. The goal is to actually make some kind of effort while eating out rather than being all or nothing about it. And enjoy your meal, please. See you tomorrow. Cheers.